I'm sure you all have heard of different charity organizations and even maybe donated to a few. And think of how good it does to help out the poor and the people who are unlucky, they might be sick or something, to give them the chance to have some food or get a cure. And then what if you gave someone $5 and told them, hey, could you buy that homeless man over there a meal? And they said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And they walk away from you and they go spend that $5 somewhere else and for themselves, or they go only spend $1 of it for like a water bottle for that homeless man. Well, that homeless man just didn't get a meal. And then think of 1 million people doing that. So that's $5 million spent, and only of 1 million homeless men that haven't gotten any meals. Now, that is what happens when you have a corrupt charity organization. This is what a charity can become, and some of them are. When you donate or promote awareness, how much research do you do into the charity organization? I say this because the message might be clear and good, but their intentions can become obscure. Today I'm going to talk about how corrupt charities generate money, how they spend money, and how they hurt our society. To begin, I would like to explain how they generate money. They use different techniques, and they're pretty effective in being able to generate money. ListFirst.com has an article on 10 horrible facts about charities. One of them is trademark bullying, and that's when, one example of that is Susan G. Komen is breast cancer awareness, and they try to find a cure for it. And one of their slogans is "for the cure." So if there are a small organization that uses that, they will immediately sue and try to get money out of that, even if it's like kites for a cure or canoeing for a cure. So that's one way they can get their money. Another one is corporate partnerships. So if you get a partnership with Coke, they can put your label Susan G. Komen for a cure on their bottle, or there was KFC. And a very interesting point they put in this article was that they actually had KFC sponsored Susan G. Komen for a cure. And while KFC promotes unhealthiness sometimes if you get the chicken and eat too much of it or something, and that'll promote diabetes, which also promotes cancer, which is contradictory to what Susan G. Komen for a cure is trying to do. Another thing is corruption. This is usually due to them paying a lot of money to solicitors to get awareness, but they pay more than 35% of their money that they get from donations to the solicitors. And also the charity founders, they can sometimes use companies that relatives own, and they pay them money to try to get the message out just because they're relatives, and then they keep the money in their family. Another technique is that product donation. People donate their hair or food or their time to these organizations, and they hope to help people out by giving them hair for a wig or food so they don't go hungry. And the last thing is the name of the organization can also be very confusing because there's different organizations. There's one that's called Make-A-Wish Foundation, which helps underprivileged kids get one of their dreams fulfilled, and it's a really good organization to donate to. And then there's another one that's called Kids Wish Network, and that is the top. They made a list on TampaBay.com, America's 50 worst charities, and that was the top #1 worst charity to donate to. These different ways of generating money isn't always negative, but the way that they use this money and products to help people is where the problem arises. On TampaBay.com, the article on America's 50 worst charities, the #1 charity on that list, which was Kids Wish Network, pays $110 million out of their $128 million they make from donation to solicitors. Also, another thing that they listed on the website is one cancer charity paid a company owned by the president's son nearly $18 million over 8 years to solicit funds. And once I saw this, I did a little research of some well-known charities and looked at their financial statements. The well-known charities I looked at were Coney 2012, Susan G. Komen for the Cure, which is breast cancer, and then Make-A-Wish Foundation. The Make-A-Wish Foundation had a pretty transparent financial statement. $185 million went to programs to help the kids fulfill their dreams. The least transparent that I thought was the Susan G. Komen, because they had other fees and miscellaneous fees, and you couldn't really tell where all their money was going to. One more interesting thing to look at as far as what these organizations use for their money is the CEOs, how much the CEO gets paid. So for the Coney 2012, the co-founding, the co-CEO, Jason Russell, makes $112,000 a year, which is a pretty hefty salary if you're just trying to help some people. And even higher than that is David H. Williams. He's the Make-A-Wish Foundation CEO. He makes $354,000 a year. And then the highest of them all is Nancy Brinker. She makes $648,717 for the Susan G. Komen for a cure. That's how much she makes a year. And so my question is, why would you give money when the finances why would you give money when you haven't researched these organizations and you don't know if they're corrupt and what they're going to use and if they're going to hurt our society? So the reasons these certain organizations hurt our society is because once you donate to an organization, say you donate to one of the ones that are not using the money the right way, well then after you donate to them, if some organization that actually is going to help, say, breast cancer patients, that you might not feel as inclined to donate again because you just used your hard-earned money to donate a certain amount. Also, the similar names get you confused, so that makes it even easier for that to happen. And some organizations are more efficient than others, as in like PETA versus RSPCA. PETA has about a 90% kill rate of the animals they take in, and RSPCA has only like 50%, and that's usually due to whether or not they're ill, whether or not they have the funds to provide for these animals. And then another example of how efficient a charity organization is Locks for Love and then the Pantene Pro-V. They both accept donations of hair. Locks for Love have about an 80% chance of the hair goes bad and they can't use it to make wigs. And if you compare them, the Locks for Love, it takes 336 donations for one wig to be made, whereas the Pantene Pro-V takes about 81 donations. And lastly, the volunteering for certain organizations. Some organizations are better to volunteer for than others due to the fact that they are more well-equipped they understand what the area needs, and they will only hire people with certain set of skills. Because sometimes people who volunteer go into an area and they don't really know how to help, and they just end up taking up the people's time and the food down there that is supposed to be used to help support the natives of that area. And then, hearing all I've said today, I hope you are more informed and should understand that something needs to be done about corrupt charity organizations.